And welcome, everyone, to a little Pac-12 chat. I'm Andy Katz. Pleased to be joined by Kyle Smith from Washington State. And the Cougars off to a decent start here in year one for Kyle Smith before we get to the Pac-12. Still a couple more non-conference games. And Kyle, we know this was a rebuild. So what were your realistic expectations by mid-December with this program?
I don't know what realistic is, but I just know I've done this 3 times now as a head coach and really haven't set steadfast goals on wins and losses. Everyone says that, the process, but really stood by it. But our goal is really to get better defensively. I just don't think you can really compete until we're consistently better there. And I think we were 285th last year. I might be off on that, down there defensively. I just know that that's not sustainable. So we've been emphasizing that, and we're 5-4 right now. I felt like we could have been a little better earlier. But I think our last couple efforts have been really good, and had a good win against New Mexico State.
So look, you've had rebuilds at private institutions, Columbia, San Francisco. This is a big-time state school. What are the challenges when you contrast what you went through at a private school versus what you're going through now?
It's not that much different. I think it's more cultural. I think just being in a college town like Pullman, it couldn't be better for me and my family. And we really embraced it. My wife's actually from the state of Washington. So that part's been unique, and that's kind of exciting is that, you walk around town, everyone's wearing Cougar gear. I don't know, there's not many college towns I think that are as loyal as this one. So
you mean in New York they're not all wearing Columbia stuff?
Hey, in New York, the second I left the 116th and Raleigh, I was anonymous. So that's probably the bigger change. And Columbia is a little bureaucratic place, and a state school can be to travel and little stuff. But it's fine. I mean, it's Pac-12, and they're really supportive here, so I'm excited.
So look, there's been success stories in Pullman, and I would argue it's one of the hardest jobs in the power conferences in the country. But clearly we can go back to George Raveling, Kelvin Sampson, and then what the Bennetts did. Obviously, they took it up to another level with Dick and Tony. When you look back at the success and what worked there, what do you see that maybe you take a little from what maybe worked, apply to what you've been able to be successful at in your various stops?
Well, I think you just named 3 Hall of Fame coaches. And I don't know if I'm not saying that caliber by any stretch, but I do think the one that I understand the best is probably the Bennetts. Because I kind of, when Dick got the job, I think it was our second year at St. Mary's, so we were kind of rebuild. And honestly, St. Mary's in the WCC, if you talk rate resources, a little different locale, but I still think it's like the 8th best resource job. Now it's different now, but when we were there, it's definitely the bottom of the league. So I kind of see it that way. And Dick always said, he wanted to find guys he could lose with, which I've thrown that out. It's more guys you can win with. And true story, because I do think it's a unique job, and you can't get caught up in the ESPN top 100 stuff like that. That's a long ways away. I think unless it's a local guy and we're doing things right. But we was recruiting one guy, and he wasn't getting a lot of recruitment. And I'm just like, I remember going, what would Tony do? What would Tony do? And I'm like, I think you'd take him. And it's about finding guys that are going to work for what we're trying to do. And really retention. I think Ernie had some good talent and wasn't able to retain a couple guys. And that can just set you back so far here. I think it really has to be the community can really build a culture. And I think you get guys that, with great attitudes, great work ethic, guys really want to be here. And the guys that played for Dick and Tony, man, they're awesome as far as supportive, and when they come back, they had really good experiences. So I think it's important to get the right kind of guys.
All right, so you just segued into where I was going next, which is in January, you guys are bringing back Klay Thompson, obviously one of the best players in the NBA with the Warriors, had a great career at Washington State. You're going to retire his jersey. I actually saw him when they retired Draymond Green's jersey at Michigan State and talked to him about what Wazoo meant to him. And basically said, look, this is where, I grew, I became a player, someone that could obviously take that next step. What did it mean to you to draw that connection, to make sure that those kind of players come back and to honor someone like Klay Thompson to get that connection to the most recent success there?
I think it's vital. I think in actually at previous stops, even I think it was always important to connect the past to the present. I also was at the University of San Francisco and having Bill Cartwright as a special assistant, people like that. And to have, I think that's obvious the most, that was 10 years ago, that group, 10, 12 years ago. They're in the kind of the prime of their young adult lives. And someone like Clay, who's obviously one of the, top 10, 15 players in the NBA, maybe better, maybe better, one of the best at his position. And again, he fits the mold as far as we're talking about guys that they really love their time spent here, which I didn't know specifically until I got here. Even the guys in the program hadn't had a ton of success, but the guys that go to school there, they enjoy the camaraderie, the campus, and you don't know, like, it's the only thing in town, and it's like, but they enjoy it. So I think Clay's great because he's this great NBA player, and I think he loved his time here.
One of the things that makes this trip so tough, and the Pac-12 is great in the fact that they'll, do the partners, is when teams have to go to Seattle and then Pullman, or Pullman then Seattle. How much is that your goal when you get at a conference to make it where you cannot sweep this trip? That we're going to make it very difficult for you. If it's that Thursday, Saturday, you got to play us a one-day prep and come out to Pullman from Seattle.
Is it bad that I'm praying for snow all the time? No, I think it reminds me of the Gonzaga-Portland trip. I had to use the WCC, but it's like, know that trip that it's northwest, it's probably going to be gray, here could be a little snow flying around, hard place to get to, hard place to get in and out of. But I think that is our advantage. I just think it's going to be gray, it's going to be cold, and like I said, our guys enjoy being around here, so it's not that big a deal, but it should be a huge advantage, especially those SoCal guys. I live down there. I'm sure it's not a trip they look forward to.
Well, Kyle, I appreciate it. I know you're off to a good start, and better things to come in Pullman for Washington State. Thank you, Kyle.
Thanks, Andy.